NEOWISE. This was taken from the slopes of Fremont Peak, and I know it's not super easy to see, but I chose this shot because it's hard to take a good picture of a comet, so you'll have to bear with me here, but you can see it right here on the screen, and there's the head and the tail of the comet, a few high clouds out there. This is the city of Hollister in the foreground from the slopes of Fremont Peak. I decided to drive up, not all the way to the top, where the state park is, but the road that goes up there's a couple overlooks that made it easy to see above the marine inversion. It was 70 degrees where we were sitting, and it was 53, I think, in San Juan Bautista at the bottom of the road. So we were up in that drier, warmer atmosphere. It made it a lot easier to see this comet, and you may be able to see it over the next couple of mornings as well, and perhaps in the evenings later on in this month. So I want to make it easier for you to see it if that's something you're interested in doing. Of course, you always have to battle the low clouds nearest the coast. That's why I chose to go farther inland and higher in elevation. So let's talk about the viewing guide, where you can see it and when. In the next couple of mornings, it will still be visible as it approaches the horizon a little bit. So it's going to be pretty low on the northeastern horizon. It was easy for me to find Venus. Venus is very bright right now, and then just look a little bit over maybe to Venus's 11 o'clock and was able to spot it. Now, it should rise around 4 a.m. and then by the time the sun comes up, it just starts to get too bright at about 5:15. You're not going to see it after that. So kind of an hour to work with. Later on in the month, it's going to go behind the horizon by the 15th, and then in the evenings start to show back up. However, by this time, the comet's going to be getting a lot farther away from the sun, and the sun is what drives that tail, makes it more visible. So it may be less visible by the time they get later on in the month, but you could look for Polaris, the North Star, and then look off to maybe it's 11 o'clock in the late evening sky after sunset. Perhaps you'll be able to catch a glance. We'll keep an eye on it here over the next couple of nights and maybe give you some updates on when you might be able to check it out. Otherwise, again, we saw some high clouds out there this morning. They're still around, swirling around this big area of high pressure. We also have some low clouds out there tonight, which will be thickening up and cooling us off as we head into the evening hours. We also have a tropical storm down in the East Pacific. This will not be making landfall, but it may send some swells up here later on this weekend. So watch out for some southerly swells on some of those south-facing beaches in Santa Cruz Sunday and Monday, which may catch you off guard. Just something to think about. Otherwise, as I mentioned, low clouds, patchy late tonight, and eventually thickening back up around the bay, I think, tomorrow morning. You still should be able to see the comet if you head inland. Don't expect too much visual obstruction outside of a little bit of haze, so maybe give it a shot. Otherwise, it should be a nice and warm Saturday, mostly sunny skies, patchy low clouds on the south side of the bay like we saw today, maybe a couple thin high clouds passing through as well. And take a look at these temperatures. The story, I guess, will be the heat tomorrow, and we're going to be back in the 90s in the Santa Cruz Mountain Valleys, down along the coast, a little bit cooler. Downtown Santa Cruz right around 80. It'll be closer to 70 on the water. Up on the north side of town, as you head up towards Scotts Valley, you can see we're going to get in the 90s pretty quick, so big contrast there. Watsonville, 70s tomorrow, same in Salinas, but 90s in Hollister, triple digits into the Santa Clara Valley, and 60s to low 70s back along the coast. Monterey Peninsula, all still in the 60s tomorrow, as you'll still have winds coming in off the water. 66 your high in Monterey tomorrow, and then southward we go to the Salinas Valley, highs mostly in the 80s and 90s. And our southern valleys toasty hot with 106 in Bradley. Over those next 7 days on the coast, temperatures staying pretty consistent through the weekend. We will be a little bit cooler early next week, and I think we'll see more clouds during the afternoon. So it'll be a little bit more of that no sky July or no fly July. I do expect some warmer weather by the end of the week, though, as a low tries to set up some offshore flow later in the week for us. Inland areas, lots of sunshine outside of a few high clouds and then a few low clouds in the mornings, but hot for the next couple of days, then cooling off quite a bit as we head into early next week.